俺の痛みはお前以上だ。
How's it going, everybody? It's your world champion here, back with another arc review. This time we're talking about the Pain Assault arc. And yeah, just as my cat assaulted her toy right now, Pain assaulted the Leaf Village and actually destroyed it in this arc. The Leaf Village gets destroyed. So this is one of those moments where we have one of the main antagonists actually kind of getting what they wanted to do. He destroys the Leaf Village. Great. So yeah, rough synopsis of this. Pain. Well, first of all, Naruto finds out Jiraiya died from the leader of Pain. He goes to train in Sage Mode. In the meantime, Pain makes his way to the Leaf Village, destroys it. Then him and Naruto has fight, and Naruto beats Pain, and then Pain undoes all the damage that he did. So this arc is very divisive in the fan base because a lot of people didn't like the ending of it, and we'll talk about the ending later on, so might have a hot take on that, but let's just go right in. There are some things that I didn't like in this arc, so let's go ahead and talk about those right now. Let's have a brief talk about filler. So, filler can be good, or it can be bad. It can be tasteful, it can be distasteful, all those things. A lot of people can like the filler, a lot of people can hate the filler. Filler is something that just fills time, so that way the anime doesn't catch up to the manga, and we get this weird, like, parallel where they're coming out at the same time, doing the exact same story at the same time. So, the filler's there just to kind of save some time off, and we'll talk more about filler with this next arc, because this next arc is going to be really long, and it's probably my least favorite filler, but that's besides the point. So, there's a random filler arc, I guess, but it's a couple episodes in this arc. It's basically to do with the fourth Hokage's legacy. The time frame of this happens the day before the Chunin exams. So, we have Naruto and Sakura, and then Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji all going to find the fourth Hokage's legacy. It's apparently some jutsu that is going to make them even better and powerful, blah, blah, blah. Guy Sensei's part of this, and basically the whole lesson of it is there's no shortcuts to being a great ninja and all that. Here's the thing. Like I just said, there could be good filler and bad filler. There was good filler in this arc where, you know, some of the people of the Leaf Village were fighting Pain and all that. That's good filler. That's something that expands the story for its own benefit. This is shit filler. Like, this is what I find in my cat's litter box at 3 in the morning when I'm trying to take a pee at 3 in the morning. No, this is bad filler. This is filler that's just there to exist, and it shouldn't exist. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Like, it does nothing for the story besides just elongate it. So, this random filler, two episode filler arc was pretty bad in my opinion. So we meet back up with Sasuke's group. They're licking their battle wounds, healing from all that. A good thing to point out from this, though, is that Sasuke's starting to already lose his eyesight from using the Mangekyo Sharingan so much, because he starts bragging about it, and then he reaches for a glass of water, or whatever it is. I think it's water, and his hand just kind of hits it, but he can't grab it because he thinks he grabs it, but he just kind of knocks it over. So he's already losing his eyesight from overuse of the Mangekyo Sharingan. But he's too cocky to admit that. So, but the reason I have it here is because, again, I don't like Karin or some of the, like, here's my thing. There's almost little to no chemistry with Sasuke's team. The most there is how much they give a shit about Sasuke, But even then, like, it's just trope after trope with those three. I don't know. And just Sasuke's just there with them. Like, that's basically the biggest thing, is he's just sitting there with them. He adds nothing to it. They're his group of people. Like, it does nothing. But we at least catch up with them. I wanted to mention it really quick. So I wouldn't say I necessarily don't like it. I just don't care for it, I guess. And I guess another thing to note too, we're setting up for what's going to be happening after this Pain Assault, because we meet up with the right Kage, we meet him, and he wants to have a 5 Kage summit, whatever that means if you haven't watched or read Naruto at all yet. Yeah, so just some setup here, but it was just whatever. I'm just gonna say it. Fuck Danzo and fuck those 2 old bastards that are pretty much on his side. They are the worst thing in the whole story. And I'll talk more about Danzo at a later date. This absolutely just annoyed the piss out of me. So they start Shippuden off with not wanting Naruto to be going out on missions. They want him to stay within the village so they can protect him and the fox, so the Akatsuki doesn't get the 9-tailed fox. Okay, fine. I understand that. Tsunade basically yells at them saying, no, he's a ninja of the leaf. He's going on missions. It's best to keep him, moving and going as a ninja of the leaf village. So fine, whatever. But then they turn around saying, no, he needs to stay away from the village so that way we can keep the village safe. Well, it's just like, what do you want to do? Like, Naruto's already out of the village and you're being attacked. People aren't going to be telling this person that where Naruto is. So you're going to get more damage by not having Naruto there, by not having Naruto fight off this threat. So have Naruto come back and fight him off. That's, again, what Tsunade tried to tell these 2 old people. But no, they weren't having any of it. I mean, well, yeah, they eventually just succumbed to it. But then Danzo over in the fucking corner just kills a messenger frog because, fuck everything. Like, I hate Danzo. I hated the idea of Danzo. We'll talk more about Danzo later. We'll talk about that later. I hated this so much. It's like, you want to protect the Leaf Village, but then you're so... you have so much hatred that you weren't the 3rd Hokage. And that you never became Hokage after that. You have so much hatred. You were so jealous and so bitter because of that. That he literally put the betterment of the village, the protection of the village, the care for the village above. He put him wanting to be Hokage above the safety of the village. I know, Rainbow Johnson, whatever. I don't give a shit. Like, this was stupid, and I hate Danzo for it. We'll talk... I keep saying we'll talk about Danzo later. But god damn it. This was just another bit of information, another bit of evidence to just say, fuck Danzo, I hate him, go away, I can't wait for you to die, again. I can't wait. I hated it. So this is just another nitpick. Well, this is probably one of the nitpicks I really have. Konohamaru defeating one of the Pains. I didn't like this at all. Like, we have this emotional moment with Ebisu where he's being held by, I forgot which Pain it is. It's the one that can, like, pretty much take, like, the physical soul thing out of you, like, with the monster behind him. So he's being held by him. We have the emotional moment of Ebisu being like, Naruto's a ninja of the leaf. I respect him. I honor him. I'm not telling you where he is. All that stuff. So what ends up happening is, and Ebisu's only there because Konohamaru ran into this Pain and he was protecting Konohamaru. So Konohamaru, instead of running away, he, attacks his pain, who, tries to fight him, tries to grab him and all that. So this is a pain. This is a person, a being, a ninja, that can take out Jonin level ninja. Can't even land a hit on a Genin, let alone like a 10-year-old. I think Konohamaru's 10 at this age. I don't know. I don't care. Fuck Konohamaru. But not only can he not get a hold of a 10-year-old, but the 10-year-old turns around using a shadow clone as a distraction and uses the fucking Rasengan. I understand. I get it. The 4th Hokage taught Jiraiya the Rasengan. Okay. Kakashi copied the Rasengan and used a variation of it to create the Chidori. Fine. I get that. I understand that. You want to pass it on to maybe a couple close friends. Okay, fine, Naruto, whatever. But Konoha fucking Hamaru, and then even when we get the flashback of that, it's just Konohamaru thinking, duh, we're just gonna do some sexy jutsu, which I understand why he would get confused at that. But god damn it, we're in this arc where the Leaf Village is being destroyed. We're seeing that happening with Konohamaru, and then Konohamaru takes out one of the pains. And then that pain ends up coming back anyways, yeah, but how does a Genin take down a ninja of that caliber? A ninja that is a quote-unquote god. It took me out of the arc. Even when I was reading it back in the day when it was first coming out, we get this chapter of Konohamaru taking down one of the pains with a Rasengan. A single Rasengan, mind you. It's not like this sage-powered Rasengan. No. Just a normal, average, everyday Rasengan. Not a fan of it at all. So the last thing we'll talk about is the exclusion of Team Guy. This is the 5th thing I didn't like in this arc, and it's kind of nitpicky, whatever. I know we're saving stuff with Guy going all out for Madara in the future. I guess that's why we didn't have much of him and Lee and Neji during this arc, if at all. So I understand that point, but it just kind of sucked because I can almost guarantee that Pain wouldn't have gone away with most of what he did if Team Guy were there. Especially with Guy and Lee going around fucking shit up. Neji would have been doing his thing as well. And then Tenten, she would have been there. Sorry. I'm not a Tenten fan, but with that being said, it was just kind of weird not having Team Guy being there, fighting Pain, and doing what they do best. Being physically fit and being physically strong. It would have been great to see Guy go up against one of the Paths of Pain. That would have been great. He could have helped Kakashi. Kakashi probably would have survived, which we'll get to that aspect later on. But, yeah, I mean, it was just weird not having Team Guy there. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, so to start off with this section, I want to start off with pretty much one of the first episodes we had in this arc. An episode called Somber News, which this is basically the episode that follows Naruto after he finds out about Jiraiya's death. This was a very powerful episode because, he chastises Tsunade for letting Jiraiya go, which we do catch up with Tsunade as well, and how she's dealing with it. That was also very powerful. And then we follow Naruto a little bit. He meets up with Iruka for a hot minute. Iruka asks him, hey, you want to go get some ramen? Naruto declines and just keeps on walking with his head down. And then probably one of the best scenes in the whole, in the whole arc, probably. Maybe the whole series. We'll get back to that. It's when Naruto, he just ends up leaving his place. It's one of those things where you don't want to be there, because you're just in your mind. So he goes for a walk. He goes to a convenience store, gets this popsicle stick, like one of those like dual popsicle sticks we've been seeing throughout the whole series. And he just kind of sits on a bench, and he's not eating it, and it's just melting. And then you see the drop just hit the floor, hit the ground. And then you see all these other drops hit the ground, and you just look up, and Naruto is just like, I'm trying not to tear up. Trust me, this arc got me in the emotional feels. So don't at me with that. So you just look up, and Naruto is just he's kind of stone faced, and tears are just rolling down his face. And then Iruka comes and talks to him and all that. So I want to talk really quick about that scene with Naruto and the scene with Tsunade. And just how, not only Kishimoto, but how the anime handled this kind of coming of bad news like this. So it's the reason it's so powerful is because it's human. It's down to earth human. You've been like this. Don't lie, because I'm not gonna lie. You've been like this. We've all been like this. When we find out this sad news, this sad, horrible news, whether it is a family member dying, a close friend happening something bad, whatever. We've all been there. Feeling that regret. Feeling that sadness. And not only that, but Naruto's face is the biggest example of this. Because... and I'll talk about this. I'll always bring this up too. And there's a few other moments in other series that kind of encapsulates this as well. But Naruto's face here when he's crying on that bench hits hard. Because as someone who deals with like depression and all that, depression, anxiety, things like that. Fun fact about me. As somebody that deals with that on a regular basis, I recognize that face. And I can feel those feelings he's having. It's just this emptiness you have where the light that you had, and like we even had the arc beforehand, like twisting that knife in us, where we knew Jiraiya was dead, but Naruto didn't. And he's talking about like how he wants to meet up with Jiraiya again and kind of talk to him and all that. And just you see that emptiness he has, where he wanted to talk with Jiraiya. He wanted Jiraiya to be there when he became Hokage. Because Jiraiya, I mean, we know that he was pretty much his godfather. But Jiraiya gave Naruto his name. And Naruto finds this out, too, later on. Because I'm going to lump this in here, too. Like, while he's doing his sage training, Naruto is reading the novel that his name came from. The Tales of a Gutsy Ninja. And he uses this later on, which we'll get into that later. He uses that information to get his resolve back. To still continue down his own path of who he is and what he's about. It's very strong stuff. Starting with this episode. But and it's not only just that. So Iruka, he tells him, hey, everything's gonna be fine, blah blah blah. It doesn't stop there, because Jiraiya left a message for the Leaf Village about pain. And nobody knows how to decipher it. Tsunade, Kakashi, nobody knows. So Shikamaru, who's heading this up, he actually goes to Naruto. Naruto's still depressed and all that, and Shikamaru's just like, alright, well, you're coming with me. And that's when we see, oh crap, oh no, Kurenai. Ooh, oh my gosh. Sometimes these off-the-cuff things are not good. Anyways, so we run into pregnant Kurenai, and she is getting out of the hospital, and Shikamaru's just checking in on her. And Shikamaru's just like, yeah, so that's Azuma's kid. I'm going to be that child's teacher. Because I inherited my teacher's will of fire. Yeah, he's gone, but I'm going to continue what he wanted to do. I'm going to continue his legacy. So Naruto, I know where you're coming from. I get it. but our masters left us something special, and only we can make that happen. And so that reinvigorates Naruto again, and Naruto is able to help decipher the clue that Jiraiya left, which ends up being like, oh, the real one's not among them. And that's actually one thing I'll mention real quick. How could nobody like decipher that at all? Not the message, just like not getting to the message, but the message itself is the real one's not among them. That's kind of obvious that these beings that are known as pain are being controlled by somebody, but whatever. This was a great episode. And then like the other stuff that tie into it too, which we'll talk about more of like Naruto and Pain's discussion later on in this video. But I wanted to point out this episode because it's very powerful. And again, I always like to talk about that Naruto crying scene because again, it hits hard. And if you know, you know. Ah, yes. Sage mode. Honorable Sage mode. So we got introduced to this during the Jiraiya versus Pain arc. And we find out that this was like an incomplete Sage mode because I guess, you know, since Jiraiya was going in between Mount Miyaboku and the Leaf Village and his duties there, he couldn't really fully realize Sage mode. So even though he had Ma and Pa's toad on his shoulders, he still took on many features of a toad. Not with Naruto when he perfected it. So let's talk about this. So Sage mode is all about taking in the nature energy. And the only way to do that is if you're staying still. So telling a hyperactive kid like Naruto to stay still, it's a good thing he's like 16 years old now. So good on you with that. But this is a concept of like staying still, meditating, and taking in everything that's around you. So while you're meditating, you're taking in all the surroundings that are around you, the trees, the breeze, the birds, all that. You are basically taking nature into you. And this is put into Sage mode as a concept. So you're taking in all this natural energy, all this natural chakra in order to use that to be stronger and be one with nature. We see a good example of this where Fukasaku, he tries to lift one of the boulders and he can't. Then he gets Sage energy. He lifts up the boulder, throws it, great on you. But it's not only just that. So Naruto perfects this in his own interesting way. So they do try to do the fusion thing. It doesn't work because of the nine-tailed fox. So Naruto tries to take in nature energy as he's moving. Doesn't really work that way. So what he ends up doing is he ends up using clones to his advantage, since we find out that the experience from a clone goes back to the owner when the jutsu is done, when it's dispersed and all that. So Naruto ends up leaving behind like 2 shadow clones at Mount Miyaboku, summoning them, releasing the jutsu, and then gathering that sage energy that they were able to gather up. So that was actually very smart on Naruto. And this also adds to Naruto's growth, not only in strength, because he takes out almost every single pain with Sage mode. I think the only one he doesn't is the God pain, the Tendo pain, because he didn't have Sage mode when he landed that final Rasengan on him. But yeah, so Sage mode as a power-up is great because, you know, there's limitations to it. I mean, he perfected the Rasen Shuriken now with Sage mode because of it. So because of that, he basically has enough Sage chakra to do 2 Rasen Shurikens. So there's a time limit, there's a power limit. Great, cool, awesome. So you get all this power with a limitation. That's fine. That's awesome. I can't really think of anything negative to say about Sage mode. I guess the only thing negative I would say is I know Naruto was using clones to train, but he learned it fairly quickly. But I guess that's, again, up to Naruto with his growth as a character. So I mentioned his growth as in power, but his growth as a character grew exponentially, mainly because of Sage Mode. And we'll talk about Naruto and his talk with Pain soon. Trust me, we'll get there soon. But just the way he's talking now, the way he's somewhat carrying himself, it's a natural progression for Naruto's character. Because since he learned the Sage Mode power, since he learned how to take in nature, he's able to feel the world around him. He can sense chakra levels now. He even asks when he gets to the battlefield, is Kakashi away? I don't sense his chakra at all. Tsunade doesn't answer him, and he's just like, okay, fine, thank you. Thank you for that. And then there's also like a taijutsu style too that goes with Sage Mode, where you use the nature around you to attack. So like when Naruto's fighting the one Pain that can absorb chakra, he's using taijutsu on him. But because the other Pains are watching, he can dodge everything very easily. So what Naruto does is he uses, I forgot the actual term, the name for it, but he uses the Sage Taijutsu. His punch like goes right across the guy's cheek. He dodges it, but it still hits him because he's using the nature energy around him to attack. So overall, Sage Mode is a really good power-up. I like the idea of Naruto taking in energy, like the energy around him, the nature energy around him, in order to fight and be more of a badass. But not only just that, like this was an exponential growth in his own character, again, because he's getting a little more serious. He's understanding the world a little bit more because of Sage Mode. So let's talk about this fight against Pain. And not only just Naruto's fight against Pain, but the whole village's fight against Pain. So let's start with the infiltration. Infiltration was fairly simple because, so the Leaf Village has this chakra sphere around it, where as soon as somebody comes in, the Leaf Village knows. The gatekeepers know that somebody has come in. So what ends up happening is Pain launches the one body that can use summonings, launches it into the air. That, who, mind you, is a new body, because that one was originally killed by Jiraiya. So now we have this young woman who is now the one that can summon like monsters and beasts. But not only that, she can summon the other Pains as well. So she gets launched into the air, goes into the Leaf Village. So the Gate Corps already knows somebody has infiltrated. She summons the other 5 Pains and Konan, and then they just disperse and cause havoc and destruction and all that. So we have some of the Pains and Konan doing their thing. Konan actually ends up fighting the Aburame clan. Now, I can't remember in the manga if we actually got to see like them interacting or anything, but this is at least nice to have them do something because the Aburame clan does try, but she ends up getting the slip on them because she put like paper bombs in her paper clones and all that. So the different Pains are going around wreaking havoc and all that. Obviously, the summoning Pain summons the beasts to destroy things, all that. We do get some nice filler with the Anbu Black Ops fighting off against the summons, so that was kind of cool to see. I enjoyed that. That, again, like what we were talking about earlier with filler, whether it's good or bad, or if it expands the story, this is a good way to use filler to expand the story. So we had that. We had probably the highlight of this battle against Pain was Kakashi versus the Tendo Pain, and I guess the Puppet Pain as well. So Kakashi meets up with them and starts fighting them. This is where we find out the weakness to this almighty push and universal pull ability that this Pain has. There's a 5-second interval between when the jutsu's done and when the Pain can cast it again. So Kakashi finds that out. Luckily, he had Choji and his dad there to help out. They were able to destroy the puppet Pain, at least for the time being. And then they find out the 5-second rule. And with that, Kakashi actually dies. Yeah. Kakashi dies. So Tendo Pain, he launches a nail at Kakashi. It hits him, but it doesn't because he has the Kamui. He tells Choji, hey, you need to run. Get back to Lady Tsunade. Give her this message. And Tendo Pain's already left. He said, all right, I'm done here. But the puppet Pain's still there. Launches a missile. Kakashi takes care of it with the Kamui and then dies. So Kakashi dies here. He's not the only named character that dies either. So we get this nice little scene where Kakashi meets up with his dad, and they end up talking a little bit. So they're having their closure there, and we'll talk about that as well later on. Whatever. So that was probably the biggest fight we saw with this Pain assault. We already talked about the Konohamaru bit, and Shizune actually dies. This is actually where Pain finds out where Naruto is. So there's a Pain that can literally put his hand on you and just read your mind fairly quickly. We have Ino and her dad there, and they're saying it took him seconds to find out what would have taken us a minute to find out. And then he takes her soul out. She's dead as well. So there's the other named character that's dead. All the meanwhile, Tsunade is trying to heal everybody with Katsuyu. And she's using all of her chakra to do this. Tendo Pain ends up there, and he's talking with Tsunade. She's already found out about his ability with the push and pull thing, because he notices that they're putting chakra into their feet so they don't get pulled or pushed. But at that moment, that's when Pain finds out, oh, Mount Miyaboku. So that's where he is. Well, okay, we're gonna end there. We're gonna go there. But we're not done yet. You, the Leaf Village, need to know what true Pain is. And so Pain just floats into the air ever so slightly. And Tsunade is like, what's going on? The other Pains retreat with Konan. They're outside the village. And then they all just kind of collapse because Pain tells Konan that he's going to use that jutsu. So he's putting all his power into what he's about to do. One almighty push later, and the Leaf Village is destroyed. And this is actually probably my favorite destruction scene, probably in a lot of series, because Pain focuses on a single point. And you just see this wave of destruction. Just when you see the village, it's normal. But then from that point, it's just nothingness spreading. And then the village is destroyed. No more village. Sakura yells out, and then Naruto, in his badass way, appears in the Leaf Village again. Hey, he's back. Isn't that just glorious? And that's when we get the Naruto versus Pain aspect of this. So during this assault, we had different people finding out different aspects of Pain. The summoning Pain, the one that can bring people back to life, how their formation is, all of that. All that knowledge gets to Naruto. So Naruto knows now what each Pain can do, and he formulates plan to beat each one of them. So he ends up first of all, he uses a Rasengan Barrage to defeat the puppet one, because it tries to attack Tsunade. Boom, you're done. Get out of here. The next one he takes out, I believe it's the one... Yeah, it's the one that can suck out the souls. So this is where we get the reveal of the Rasen Shuriken being thrown. That gets thrown, destroys that Pain, donezo. Okay. Next is... Oh, yeah, he does kick and destroy the Pain that can suck in chakra. But that's when he finds out that the one can bring ones back to life, because he ends up bringing that one back to life. So after that, they destroy the one that can summon, because that one's just in the way. I like how they do that one too, because Gamabunta puts her in her mouth, Naruto beats her up, and that takes care of that one. So that one's taken care of. And then Naruto, again, he takes care... I think my favorite one... So he takes care of the one that can revive the pains next. Fairly easily. Because the Tendo pain, he just got his power back. So the Rasen Shuriken doesn't hit him, but it was just a distraction. Naruto Rasengan barrages the one pain, and now there's only 2 left. There's Tendo, who's pretty much the god one, and we have the one that can suck in chakra. The way Naruto beats that one is probably my favorite, because he like has him in a full Nelson and is absorbing all of his chakra. And Pain's just like, all right, we got him. Let's just take in all his chakra left and we'll be on our merry way. No, it doesn't work that way, because Naruto's just like, wait, I can't move. So I'm just going to take in some nature energy and you're dead. And that's how he defeats that pain. I love it, because it turns into a froggen and then it turns into stone because it can't control the power. So it's great. It's awesome. It's fan-freaking-tastic. After that, we get the fight with Tendo Pain. Now, a quick aside with this. This is where... so Fukusaku and Granny Toad, they're trying to get their genjutsu ready in order to defeat Pain. But he sees through all this. He, pins Naruto down. He he universally pulls Fukusaku, stabs him, and so he's dead. The third named character that's dead. So Naruto's pinned down. But who comes to save the day but Hinata? Okay. This was heavily expanded upon in the anime, because we have a bunch of scenes of Hinata seeing Naruto when they were young, and how Naruto like stood up to some bullies against Hinata, all that stuff. So she's pretty much returning the favor here, being like, I've admired you from afar. I've always wanted to be next to you, close to you, and she admits her love to him. And it's a very touching scene, very powerful scene, and Pain ends up just wrecking Hinata. He even pulls some ragdoll physics on her, and with that, so I won't talk about the speech right now, but with that, I know this is turned into a recap, but I don't care. So after that, Naruto is so pissed off, he goes straight into Nine Tails mode. Now in the manga, he goes straight into Six Tails, but here he kind of builds up to that. So he starts with 4 tails, moves up to 6, all that. This also entails that episode with that animation. And that's all I'll say about that. Like, it's kind of ugly, I'm not gonna lie. Even without the I know it's things like transitional scenes and all that, but even still, it's just kind of ugly looking. I'm sorry, it's not pretty to look at. But yeah, all this time Naruto's building up, gaining more tails, gaining more power. And that's when you realize, wait, Yamato's not there. Turns out they had him and Kakashi had put a seal on the necklace, on Tsunade's necklace that she gave to Naruto. They put a sealing jutsu on that, but Naruto just takes it off, breaks it. He's out of control now. So we cut over to where Yamato is, because he's on a mission with Anko and Sai to find Kabuto. But his hand starts burning, and he notices that Naruto's at 6 tails from that. Like, he has the symbol that says 6, and it moves up to 8 and 9, all of that. So he's running back to the village. Naruto is turning into the fox, like literally turning into the fox. We get planetary devastation going into all that. Like, we'll talk more about Naruto going into the Nine Tails release. So after all that, Naruto is out of his thing. Actually, you know what? No, let's talk about that, because the other thing I liked was the Nine Tails almost being released. No, fuck it. Let's get right into it. So the Nine Tails here almost gets released. big moment, big, huge moment right here, where the Nine Tails is almost released. Like, Yamato, he sees the 9 on his hand, and saying he's too late, he can't make it. And the manga did this a lot better. The anime, whatever. The manga did this so much better because you just see this burst, this 9-tailed fox burst out of this planetary devastation, this mini moon that Pain created in order to contain the 9-tailed fox. He just burst out of it, roaring. And then we go into the inside world. Naruto's like seal on his belly, bleeding out. He's about to release the 9-tailed fox. And all of a sudden, the 4th Hokage shows up, stops Naruto from doing it, changes the location. He's just like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. I'm going to strengthen that seal up a little bit more. This was a precautionary thing. But that's when we get the final reveal that the 4th Hokage was Naruto's dad all along. I remember the theories going about it. People, like, to be honest, I was one of those people who was just like, it's kind of obvious that he was. Just go ahead and reveal it then, dude. Like, don't hold that back from us. Don't keep that from us. So they have a talk. Naruto actually punches the 4th Hokage. He's just like, how could you put it into your own son? We'll get more of that explanation later on. But basically the 4th Hokage is like, you know, you're my son. I'm very proud of you. I put the 9-tailed fox inside of you. That he also tells Naruto, I put only half the power into you. But I put it into you because I knew you could do something great with it. You're a great person because you're my son, and you'll be great. I believe in you. And then he fades off into existence. Naruto's standing there with the with Sage Mode reactivated because his last clone deactivated at Mount Miyaboku. All the while, can we talk about this? All the while, so Naruto was in 9-tailed fox form, but all the while he had a Katsuyu in him, like in his clothes. She survives all this. She like crawls out and she's like, oh, I can't believe I survived this. Like, kudos to you, Katsuyu. You survived the 9-tailed fox's power close up at hand. Give her the fucking MVP award of this arc. So yeah, Naruto ends up beating Pain in, I think, a great way, because he uses up his Sage Mode for distractions with Rasen Shurikens, and during the time that Pain had between like using, you know, Almighty Push, Universal Pull, all that, Naruto had all these clones go out, and then he just bum rushes him with a Rasengan. End of story. He's defeated the 6 paths of Pain, but he has to find the main body, and we'll talk about the main body when we talk about Nagato and Pain all together. But honestly, I did like aspects of this fight. There was the aspect of it taking everyone doing their best and trying their hardest, and, you know, also some of them giving up their own lives just to find out what Pain was and his power, and to get that message not only to Tsunade but to Naruto himself. So it's kudos to that. I also liked seeing more of the Nine Tails raging out. Again, in the manga, this was hype as fuck. Like, I'm gonna say that right now. It was hype as fuck. Anime, not so much. It kind of like, again, the gray like pattern they used for it, it's kind of bad. I am not gonna lie. It invoked nothing in me. But, you know, having the 4th Hokage be there, because I guess it kind of makes sense with him, with the seal that he used, the Reaper Death Seal, because excuse me for a second, because we had we had it told to us before that the Reaper Death Seal, basically whoever uses it and whoever they're sealed with, they're going to be battling for all eternity within that seal. So it makes sense having like part of the 4th Hokage there as like a backup for that. Now he doesn't show up again, but we see that later on in the big war arc, which we'll get to that when we get to it. So overall, with the battle against Pain and the 9 Tails almost being released, 2 great facts that I liked in this arc, back to back. I lumped them in together now because this is my video. Whatever. Lastly, let's talk about Pain / Nagato. So Naruto goes to find Pain, well, Nagato, and he basically wants to talk to him. The reason he wants to talk to him is because during their fight, Pain had probably, if not the best speech in any form of anime, manga, anything. He was talking to him about this cycle of hatred. And this is something that we can actually tie in to our everyday lives. Just take out the words shinobi or ninja, and he's talking about our world right now. So basically, there's a cycle of hatred. Like, you can kill me, yeah, but what about my friends? What about my family? What about my village? They'll just come by and take you out. Because we live in this world of hatred and violence. There's a cycle of hatred. And since they both had Jiraiya as their teacher, as their sensei, they both inherited this will of trying to find peace. Now they're both two sides of the same coin, wanting peace, but both are going about it in different ways. Nagato in the worst way possible. So with this, he challenges Naruto. He challenges Naruto's beliefs in being like, you want this. You want peace. But how are you going to do this? I have my answer. I know what I'm going to do to achieve it. But what are you going to do? If I'm wrong, what is right then? Tell me. And Naruto cannot answer. And basically that was his answer then, at the time. So at the end of the fight, Naruto finds out what Nagato is. He runs to him, and they have a talk. So this is part of the meme of the talk no jutsu, where a lot of Naruto's battles kind of end with just talking. Not like a big climax. There are still big climactic things, but he ends up changing the minds and hearts of his opponents. And so the meme of the talk no jutsu is there, but when you're seriously talking about Naruto, this is something that a lot of people don't want to bring up, is the fact that this is the starting point, and I know we've had a couple points as well, like I could bring up Zabuza as well for a talk no jutsu, but this is part of a theme of Naruto, and this is part of the theme of him finding peace in the world, is this idea of trying to connect with one another, this idea of empathy and understanding that we might be different, but we're all the same. There's no reason for us to fight and try to kill each other. Let's try to talk this out. This is the best example I can see of all of that, because you see this in a lot of anime and manga. Oh, let's talk about this. Oh, well, it's too late for talk. Blah, blah, blah. This is a series that like gets that through. We'll talk about that though when I want to bring up another point. So let's go through Nagato's history. So he goes through that a little bit. He's just like, there were two instances of major pain. There was when my parents died, who they died to Leaf Ninja during the Great Ninja War. So he obviously has, hatred towards the Leaf Village. And then when Yahiko died. So, they had grown up together. They trained together with Jiraiya, him, Konan, and Yahiko. After Jiraiya left, they formed the Akatsuki, who were this faction that were going up against Hanzo of the Rain. So they actually ended up getting tricked by Hanzo and by Danzo, mind you, because Danzo's just working in the shadows being like, we'll help you so you can take out this army. Just, you have to be an ally to Leaf now. Whatever. So Yahiko ends up dying, and this is where we get the Ghetto statue, like that reveal, and why Nagato's in like this dying corpse stage that he is. So that basically takes out Hanzo. And that was the second instance of pain in Nagato's life, was the death of Yahiko in front of him. And so he tells Naruto his whole story like this. So that way, because Naruto says, I'm not going to give you an answer until I know your full story. So Nagato tells him this. And after that, Naruto pulls out the book, The Tales of a Gutsy Ninja, because he had said something that was very similar to what the main character in that book said. And Nagato realized this because Jiraiya had left a copy of it there for them. And we even get a little flashback, too, of Nagato talking to Jiraiya when he came up with the name of Naruto, because Jiraiya was in some sort of writer's block with it. So Nagato was the inspiration for the book, but Naruto was the character in the book. And Naruto's just like, look, I may not have the answer right now. I know I don't. But my master gave me my name. My master gave me my way of life. So I cannot break away from that. I want to kill you. I so want to kill you. But I'm not going to. Because I'm not going to not be me. I'm not going to become somebody that I know I'm not. So I'm not going to kill you. And I will find peace my own way. And it hits Nagato so hard that he ends up bringing everybody back to life that died. Now, a lot of people hate this. A lot of people despise this. And I'm not going to lie. First couple times wasn't my favorite thing. This time, however, I get it. I understand why. You may not like it. That's fine. You can have your opinion. Let me defend it. So, the whole idea of this is to break the cycle of hatred. To break that cycle. To use that word again. To break all that negativity. To break all that violence. To make right again. Nagato was just like, fine. I'm willing to put all my faith in you, Naruto, because we're sibling students, you and I, sharing the same master. I'll choose to believe in you, but I will, I'll get you back if it doesn't end up happening. So that's why he brought everybody back to life. It also makes sense because, we've gotten built up with the Rinnegan of being the Sage of Six Paths and how he was a god of the world and brought peace to the world and all that. So because of this book, it was able to tie in 2 generations of students of Naruto and keep one from not straying from their own path. Because Nagato strayed from his path. He wanted to find peace, but he was caught in this war-torn world and experienced such harsh pain that it warped him. It turned him into something that he originally wasn't. And he finally makes amends with that. He makes amends with that by bringing back the people he killed. He brought back Akashi, Shizune, some of the other people. And that's the whole message of this. Is we need to break this cycle of hatred. Right now, there's so much hatred and violence going on in our own world. And I know it's hard to forgive and forget. Well, you're never going to forget. But it's so hard to forgive. And I'm not even saying forgive. But what is the point of having someone... And obviously people need to pay for their crimes. I'm not saying they don't. Nagato paid for his. He basically gave his life in order to bring about more peace in his world. He went back to his original person. He went back to who he originally was. So, with that, I'm not saying forgive anybody. And I'm not saying forget anything. But break that cycle of hatred by just letting it go. Why continue to bring so much hatred, so much negativity, so much violence, so much anger? I don't get religious on here because that's not my point. That's not the point of this channel. But there is a higher power, I think. I believe there is a higher power. I'll say that much. Let them be the judge. Let them be the jury, the executioner, all that. Yes, we need to incarcerate the bad people. I'm not saying let them run rampant, run free, but don't let hatred consume you. I think that's the big message I'm trying to get across here. Don't let hatred consume you. And that's what this arc is trying to teach us. Don't let the hatred consume you. Don't let it make you become somebody that you're not. Stay on that path. Be the person you always have been. You can be that Naruto. You don't have to be that Nagato. Be the Naruto in your life, not the Nagato. So Pain as a concept and as a character is just, it's very well written, I think, in my mind. And especially after this latest rewatch and retread through the series. It's very poetic, I want to say. Yeah, we'll use poetic as the word. Whereas, like, pain is what happens when you let hatred consume you. Because all you feel, that's why his name is Pain. Because that is all he feels, is pain. Pain from the negativity, pain from the anger, pain from the violence, pain for not letting go of the past. That's what he is. That is Nagato / Pain in a nutshell. Naruto, he went through his own pain, his own suffering. But he learned from it, he grew from it, and he never stepped away from his path. He had many options to. He had many different, like, roads and, signs to be like, oh, you should go this way, go this way. No, he stayed on his path. Whereas Nagato, he saw that sign and was just like, yeah, that is the right way. And that's his whole message here, is breaking the cycle of hatred. We can do this in our life. It's hard. Like, don't get me wrong, it's difficult. I mean, most of this arc is spent, like, Naruto still didn't have a straight answer for Pain. He just said he was going to find the answer, but he wasn't going to stray from his path. So I guess in a way he did answer, but he still didn't have an answer for Pain. And that's fine. Have the journey to get there. And you'll find peace through that. So I'm getting off the soapbox here. That's why I think Pain is actually a really good character. That is why the concept and character of Pain is so good, because it encapsulates everything from our own lives. And that's what makes, like, right now in My Hero Academia with the villains are so compelling and so good because we can see their point. We can understand their point. We can empathize with their point. We understand that because their society is very similar to ours. It's very similar. And the same with pain. We all experience pain. We all experience death and agony and just hatred and violence and all of that. But we can't stray from the right way. We just be a Naruto. Like, and we'll like, this is peak. This is peak Naruto here. This is where the series is at its highest, with a character like Pain, with a confrontation like Pain versus Naruto. Anyways, that's why I like Pain. Pain's a great character. Let's give this thing a final grade. So my final grade for this arc is an A. I know I just kind of harped a little bit, and I kind of just rambled on, Ramble Johnson and all that, but I just wanted to get the message across about this arc. There's a lot to just dissect from it, and there's a lot that we can take away for our own lives through this arc and pretty much through this story. So I'm just going to leave it there. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the video. I know this has been pretty long. Hopefully next time it won't be so rambly. I mean, I do apologize for that. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know this is probably one of my longer arc reviews, but there's just so much to talk about and so much to just take in from this arc. And like I was saying during my pain section of the arc is, find your own peace in this world. Stick to your path. Don't let anything else stray you away. We can have a great life. We can do this together. Let's break that cycle of hatred. So, with that being said, if you have anything else to say, just leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to get to them as soon as I can. If you were entertained in any way, shape, or form, don't forget to like the video. Sorry, I am just like all over the place right now. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel because, you know, I'll have many more arc reviews, my other content as well. The next arc, it's not going to be as deep as this one. I'm probably going to do something a little different with it because it's just a massive filler arc. So we'll just leave it at there. So again, thank you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. And as always, people, I've been your world champion. Catch you guys in the next video. See ya.
I don't need you. Better things are coming on the way.